These mighty animals are fundamentally linked to Plains Indian culture in a time long past. The great wild America that once was and still is, here at Custer State Park. It is 71,000 acres of forests, lakes, and prairies, towering granite spires, and vistas that stretch on and on. Yours to explore, and it starts here. At Custer State Park, you choose your own path through an incredible American landscape. Each year, close to 2 million visitors arrive in the park to travel these roads. On a winding journey, a journey into the Black Hills. Past mountains, lakes, and meadows. Ponderosa pines, and an infinite sky. From the gentle rolling hills in the south to the rugged spires of the north, the road winds on. The road into the heart of these hills. There is so much to discover here. Framed by the Crazy Horse Memorial and Mount Rushmore, Custer State Park offers scenic drives, historic lodges, mountain lakes, and a whole lot of history. Long before there were maps, this was the center of the world for the Cheyenne and Lakota Sioux. To them, it was the Pahasapa, the Hills of Black. Not just a landscape, but a sacred place. And for generations, this has been their home. Then in 1874, explorer and fortune hunter, Lieutenant George Custer, led one of the largest expeditions to map the area that would become Custer State Park. Founded in 1912 and named South Dakota's first state park in 1919, it was the vision of Peter Norbeck, senator, governor, and famed conservationist, a tireless advocate who personally planned the scenic roadways. Soon the park became a summer White House for President Calvin Coolidge and a refuge for cowboy poet Badger Clark, who was inspired to write, "Where sunsets turn the sky to gold and distant plains to amethyst, where pines reach up to the mountains and the mountains to the blue." The park expanded in the Great Works project of the 1930s. And over the coming decades, it became one of the largest state parks in the entire country. Generations of visitors have come to Custer State Park, and now it's your turn. Every day at Custer State Park can be the start of a new adventure. Waking up to songbirds, the white-winged junco, and the mountain bluebird. The park stretches out for you to explore. For many families, the path leads to one of the 4 lakes in the park. Sylvan Lake is known as one of the crown jewels of the park, and it's easy to see why. Just glide out onto the water.
This lake is so cool. It's like Treasure Island. You're out on the water, and there are these giant rocks and boulders all around you. There's so much to explore out here. It's really fun.
Just east of Sylvan Lake, jagged spires cut the skyline. The slender granite peaks known as the Needles. For the past 7 decades, these gray pillars have been the site of world-class rock climbing.
I got started here climbing boulders. It took me a while, and I've worked my way up to the cathedral spires. It's a tough climb, but it's worth the effort.
Starting in the 1940s and 50s, climbing pioneers Herb and Jan Kahn put up hundreds of first ascents in the Black Hills. And today, a new generation of climbers is following in their footsteps.
For me, climbing is not just about getting to the top, it's the journey up. The payoff is this amazing landscape. You just want to take it all in. Long before I was even born, Herb and Jan Kahn did the first ascent of the cathedral spires. When I am up here, I feel a real connection to them, and I understand their great love of climbing in this area.
For the first people to inhabit this vast landscape, Tatanka, the buffalo, was the root of all life. And that tradition still echoes through the rugged hills of Custer State Park with our majestic herd. Every September, Custer State Park hosts a remarkable event, the Buffalo Roundup. More than 1,300 buffalo, 60 cowboys, and a whole lot of raw power. Each of these mighty beasts can be up to 6 feet tall and weigh up to 2,000 pounds. The buffalo herd managers at Custer State Park have been raising and protecting these iconic creatures for nearly 100 years.
Custer Park began with their animals in 1914 from the original 36 head. It's expanded to where it is today.
The buffalo herd at Custer State Park gives a glimpse of what the first Americans would have experienced in times past.
In the 17 and 1800s, there was approximately 30 to 60 million buffalo in North America. You read accounts of the first settlers coming out, and all they could see for miles was black and brown buffalo moving across the prairie. It's estimated by late 1880s, 1890, that there was as few as under 1,000 that they'd been hunted out to those numbers. And then in the early 1900s, the Yellowstone herd became protected, and Custer Park was kind of a foundation herd of its own. So today, that iconic status that the buffalo has is what brings visitors to Custer State Park, and I'd like to say I'm proud to be a part of a wonderful place here.
Custer State Park is not just about buffalo. It's alive with thousands of species of plants and animals, from the tiny wildflowers to the ponderosa pines. You don't have to look far for the wildlife here. It's all around you. Custer State Park has been called one of the best places in North America to see a whole range of animals in their natural habitat. Most of them can be enjoyed on Wildlife Loop Road. Here you'll find members of the buffalo herd roaming and grazing. Deer and elk are typically seen among the trees and on hillsides. And keep an eye out for the pronghorn antelope, the fastest land animal on the continent. Expect to be approached by one of the friendly burros. These longtime park residents spend most of their time in the southern foothills. Smaller creatures like the yellow-bellied marmot can be seen in and around the piles of rocks where they dig their burrows. And the always popular prairie dog, barking and chirping to warn the colony about predators. Up in the hills, a team of biologists is on an important mission. They've been studying the bighorn sheep.
Bighorn sheep are a native animal to the Black Hills. They have a long history, and they're a very unique species in the Custer State Park.
Some members of the bighorn sheep herd have been fitted with radio collars that allow biologists to monitor their locations within the park. With this tracking system, scientists can locate and tranquilize specific animals for testing. Routine testing helps to ensure the health of the bighorn sheep. Similar programs have been used to monitor elk, calves, and mountain lions within Custer State Park.
It's an important species for us to manage and study because of their just innate importance that I think the people of South Dakota really enjoy this species, and it's important to maintain their populations.
It's all part of Norbeck's vision, an enduring legacy of preserving wildlife. Ensuring the future. Through newborns like these tiny baby buffalo. 400 are born every year. Generations protected for the future. At this park, it's the quiet things that endure. The solitude of a late afternoon. The light that dances off a stream.
I caught my first fish here at French Creek, and I've been coming here ever since. I came here with my dad, what seems like a lifetime ago, and I've always loved this place. It's not just fishing, it's connecting with my past and creating new memories.
This is the heritage of Custer State Park, the heritage of rolling grasslands, and and the thundering herds. It's an amazing spectacle, an awe-inspiring sight. The Buffalo Roundup. Thousands of spectators who come to watch, it's a chance to celebrate these iconic animals and a past we all share. Custer State Park is a place like no other. A refuge. A window back in time. Back to the wide open frontier, the Black Hills, and so much more. It's all here to be discovered. You just need to go out and find it. The adventure you make yourself.